It has been nearly 2 years since the US withdrew its troops from Afghanistan. The country has been in utter chaos since the US withdrawal and a forceful Taliban's takeover. Afghanistan has been left in the lurch. The country is witnessing unimaginable proportions of humanitarian crisis under Taliban rule. They have no food, economy has taken a downturn, women in the country are barred from working at offices, and several other issues of concern. Was America responsible for the disaster in Afghanistan? Is China's growing influence in the Afghan nation a concern for the South Asia? To find some answers, let's see this report.
A hasty US withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021 sparked a flurry of questions that still remains unanswered. Was Afghanistan stable when the US forces left? Could they have avoided the situation that have relied on a pragmatic alternate strategy? Earlier this year, a 12-page report released by Pentagon justified President Biden's role in the withdrawal decision. The report said that the president took the advice of military commanders on the tactical decisions about the operational retrograde of US forces from Afghanistan, including the dates they closed facilities. The Republicans have time and again alleged that the Biden administration was stonewalling investigations into what they refer to as a disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, which ended in a chaotic evacuation. The Taliban took over and left thousands of Afghan allies behind. Michael McCaul, chairman of Foreign Affairs Committee and a ranking member of the committee, Gregory Weldon Meeks, have been investigating the withdrawal from Afghanistan for almost 2 years now. McCaul has for months been seeking a descent channel cable sent by US diplomats in Afghanistan in July 2021 that allegedly warned top officials of the potential collapse of Kabul soon after the withdrawal of US troops. The descent channel is a medium through which foreign service officers and the other US citizens employed by the United States Department of State and Agency for International Development in other countries are invited to express their dissent or constructive criticism against a US government policy.
It is now very clear that what the Biden administration did was a wrong decision. It was taken in haste and it was taken in a manner so as to ensure the complete takeover of the Taliban of Afghanistan, or at least that is what its impact was. The Afghan government and its supporters never even got a chance to fight. Now, this is something that is possibly in the cable that was sent by the US ambassador to the State Department, and that is what the Republicans want to be made public. And what they are saying is the following, that now a couple of years have already elapsed since this incident has occurred. If this is so, what is the point in hiding it? And this is what Secretary Blinken refuses to expose, because they believe it is pretty clear that the wrong decisions of the present administration with respect to Afghanistan become very clear.
Although public access to descent channel cable can bring some significant revelations around the US withdrawal from Afghanistan, the chaos and destruction that ensued in Afghanistan cannot be undone. The West seems to have washed its hands of the situation. The women in Afghanistan are banned to work at offices and girls are barred from schools and educational institutions. A humanitarian crisis of unimaginable proportions has grappled Afghanistan after Taliban took over the nation. According to World Food Programme, 19.9 million people in Afghanistan are facing acute food insecurity.
Now that the Taliban has come back to power, they are doing exactly the same things that they were doing earlier. And the fact remains that the Taliban is not necessarily known for its good governance. So, sectors like agriculture, which have to be developed, Taliban is not being able to do anything more than what the previous governments did. In fact, they are being, in a sense, degraded. So, you have bad administration, And as a result of that bad administration and as a result also of the Taliban government's isolation, they are neither able to grow food nor do they have the money to import food from abroad.
The cash-strapped nation is seeking economic assistance from the international community. At this juncture, when the West has moved away, China is trying to exploit the situation. From investing in extraction of oil and mineral resources to extending China-Pakistan Economic Corridor (CPEC) under its Belt and Road Initiative, China has further widened its debt trap for economically broken Taliban-ruled nation. China has long aspired to become a top player in the electric vehicle market. Gaining access to Afghanistan's extensive and rich lithium deposits, estimated worth around $1 trillion, would be nothing short of a lottery for Beijing. According to the Khama Press, a Chinese company Gochin has expressed interest in investing $10 billion in Afghanistan's lithium deposits.
The Chinese have a number of interests in Afghanistan. First is basically the Afghans have certain mineral resources. There are enormous iron ore reserves in the Sanjak province. There are lithium reserves which are extremely important for electric vehicles and batteries. There is also some oil and some gas. Now, these oil and gas cannot be consumed by the Afghans themselves, given the low nature of their economy. The state of their economy is such that they can't consume anything. So the Chinese have a vested interest in coming in.
China's growing influence in Afghanistan could prove to be a major security concern for other South Asian countries. There has been a major shift in the geopolitical landscape in South Asia ever since Afghanistan fell to Taliban. The diplomatic equations between the countries have also changed with respect to the Afghan nation. Although quite anticipated, the withdrawal of US troops has left the Afghan nation in the lurch. The big power in South Asia, India has to find a way around to stop China and Pakistan's influence in Afghanistan in the absence of the West.